right, training camp's in full swing, and we got the update observations from day one of training camp. That's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, let's get into the injuries. And there are some significant ones here. Physically unable to perform list. Taylor Decker, it's not serious. He'll be back after the Hall of Fame game. Yahoo. Aleem McNeil, we know it's going to be a while. Not much I heard on Miles Frazier yet. Same with Makai Wingo. Malcolm Rodriguez, we know it's going to be around the Thanksgiving time frame. Khalil Dorsey, yeah, still don't know. Joshua Paschal, they're saying it could earliest would be September. Yeah, he could come back. Levi Onwuzurike out for the year. He's out for the year. And in training camp, Ennis Rakestraw got hurt on the first day of practice here as the Detroit Lions suffered their first injury of training camp. On Sunday, a second-year cornerback, Ennis Rakestraw, left practice early with the Lions that they're calling a chest injury. It was unclear what happened on the play from my vantage point as Pride of Detroit, but Rakestraw was down on the ground during 11-on-11 rep holding his arm and shoulder area. After several minutes in observations of trainers, Rakestraw gingerly walked off the field in trainers supporting his upper body. Injuries hitting us. You know, I got told that, you know, it's going to be different this year with injuries, and it may. But this is a bad start to training camp when ACL, Levi Onwuzurike done for the year, Joshua Paschal, a minimum of September. We don't know what Ennis Rakestraw injury is, and he was injury prone last year. So right now, right off rip, the injuries are starting to mount up, but that's the bad part. So we're going to get into the good news and the observations that took place. But before we do that, like the video. Let's get to 300 likes in this video. That's what we're talking about. Who's at center, at least for this practice? Tate Ratledge was at center the whole practice, taking the reps. So, at least from day one, it looks like he's the guy. Now, if you know Dan Campbell and how he operates practice, sometimes they switch it up. And it was the right guard was Graham Glasgow. Left guard was Christian Mahogany. So, he took all the reps there. So, right now, for the center position, it's looking like Tate Ratledge has got it. But again, they do switch things up each practice. Alex Anzalone showed up. He is here. I told you guys not to worry. He showed up. Alex Anzalone is here. He didn't practice, but he showed up today. Let's get into the observations. We're going to go ahead and start with the offense here, and Jared Goff heating it up as he was feathering a pass into Tim Patrick's arm over Amik Robertson. A really nice route by Tim Patrick, who got open in space, and he's savvy with his push-offs, as we know. Dan Skipper was at left tackle. Why is that? Because Taylor Decker is injured, and he moved well. He did well in space. Nothing really to talk about there. Again, it's the first day of practice. Giovanni Manu, he was actually with the third string. However, Ben Raven from MLive noted that Manu's calves and thighs are definitely more toned and they're sculpted than in years past. So it looks like he's really taken an attention to lifting weights, eating healthy, toning up for that left tackle position. He's a big guy, as we all know. He's got the size. He's a monster amongst men, but toning up is not bad. So that's a good thing from there. All right, Nate Lynn, edge, took first-team reps, period, before stretching with Joshua Paschal unlimited. Obviously, till September, we know the injury. Lions needed someone to step up, and Lynn, he stepped up, practiced well, signed as undrafted. He made some splashy rushes. It appears that the Lions are open to see what Lynn can do. Also, Eric Hallett repped up with the first team's rep safety in place of Kirby Joseph, who returned to overlook very spy following stretching. Hallett was up there with Avonte Maddox, Dan Jackson, and Maurice Norris, Ian Kennedy, and Lawrence Strickland. Again, it's the first day, so it's important to note, not read too much into anything. They're trying to look at the young players, as we all know. Rakestraw, like we said earlier, he went down. We don't know the severity of it yet. Jared Goff looked to be in midseason form with his throws, starting with the picture-perfect combination of Sam Laporte on the sideline. Goff notably threw a dart to St. Brown, where his perfect stride for a 50-yard bomb. Jared Goff even showed some of his wheels in the drills, bursting through a wide-open hole in the middle and gaining a 10-yard gain. Hendon Hooker, well, Hendon Hooker was Hendon Hooker. Just as case you've seen, mixed reviews, outstanding throws, and then some that was just complete and utter misses. On 7-on-7 drills, he bounced it short to Lovett, the Lions' 7th round pick. Then he rifled it to Zach Horton in between the defenders. Kyle Allen, the number 3 from the practice, he's got a quick release and he can move around the pocket a little bit. He showed a weakness arm, but it's third string. What about replacing Levi Onwuzurike? Well, this is what they're doing out there. That was the issue, right? So it was anticipated. It was Pat O'Connor. He was in there. Chris Smith and Miles Adams were getting some reps at that spot. Tate Ratledge and Graham Glasgow did get first-team reps each center. Glasgow moved to right guard as Ratledge slid into the pivot spot where Glasgow was at center. Ratledge did not play any guard reps that I've noticed, and he might have. I just didn't see them, and that's what Jeff Risden was saying. Kalif Raymond fielding a punt where the ball was already tucked in, indication that he's wideouts come from encouraging there. We already know that. Newcomer Avonte Maddox primarily played safety. The Lions experimented with some looks where Meek Robertson was the outside corner and Terrion Arnold in the slot. When he was in the slot, DJ Reed was on the side. Robertson traveled that way, and Arnold played outside. Again, his first day of observations. Don't take big deal on that. But I think the biggest thing is that Tate Ratledge got the reps at center. That's it. He was taking all the reps at center. Yeah, they had Graham Glasgow in there, but he wasn't playing anything but center. So that's a big deal for the Detroit Lions. Lions offense is looking pretty savvy so far. Not too bad. The Lions offense is doing better. I thought, it's the start of training camp. I thought the defense may be a little bit ahead, but again, this is day 1. But it is good to see that the offense and Jared Goff is humming. We're still all about the offensive line. Like, this is just day 1 of practice. Yeah, Tate Ratledge took practice at the center today. Graham Glasgow, a tiny bit most at guard, but it could switch the next day, right? That's how training camp works. So, but that is day 1. So we'll continue on with the Tate Ratledge watch and Graham Glasgow with the offensive line. Christian Mahogany, left guard, and so that's what's going to be. So you got left guard. We just don't know center, right guard officially yet, but it looks like Tate is going to be the center. Definitely looks like that. But man, so far, so good in regards to on the field. So far, not so good in regards to the injury fronts as the injuries are mounting. But this is day 1 of practice. A lot more to go. Let's continue on here. And David Montgomery spoke to the media and let's continue on here and talk about Dave Montgomery spoke to the media, and he's super excited for him and Jahmyr Gibbs to be on the field at the same time. He says, being able to have me and him on the field at the same time, it's going to be tough for defenses to prepare for, Montgomery said. So it'll be super exciting to see us both on at the same time. This is something that we, as Lions fans, have been wanting for a long time, and this is what we're going to be having here. John Morton, who Lions' new OC, is going to put them both on the field, and that is great. It is time for Jahmyr Gibbs to take that next step, to be utilized as a pass catcher as well as a running back. And having them both on the field really will confuse defenses, folks. And this is the important thing. When you have both of them on the field, it's what are you going to do? You're going to run? You're going to pass? Screen pass? Right or left? Because they're both that good. And we all been talking about, I feel like for the past couple years, is why they're not on the field at the same time. Why is David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs not scaring defenses on Sundays at the same time on the field? I understand we got a ton of weapons, and it is true. We got a massive amount of weapons, and it's going to be difficult for the Detroit Lions to able to distribute the football to everybody. But when you have your best playmakers on the field, I think that's an option that the Detroit Lions should be looking to do. And it looks like that is going to be the case this year, and that is good. And that's going to help out this offense, and you're going to see more plays like that. In the 50-yard bomb, to St. Brown, by the way, we're going to be seeing a lot more deep passes. that is what he runs his offense. Run, 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 play action. So St. Brown's going to get a little bit more action than he usually gets, and that's pretty good for him. Make sure you like this video. Let's get to 300 likes in this video. It's about to go to a commercial break. Generally does. That would help out. What do we need to see going forward for the Lions? Well, what do we need to see tomorrow is, again, the offensive line. How is the offensive line going to be utilized? Is Tate Ratledge going to be back at center? Is it going to switch it up? Is Grand Glass going to get there? We know they switch things up. How is that going to be? The injury to Ennis Rakestraw. What is the severity of it? We'll probably get an idea tomorrow of what's going on with Ennis Rakestraw. Hopefully it's not too serious because we need him on the field. We drafted this guy in the second round to play, okay? To play, not to be on the all-IR team. We expect him to play. So hopefully we get some good news there. That's quality. The offense is good. It's not concerning me right now, and that's a positive. Maybe there'll be less rust than I expect. We'll see as training camp goes along each day. So we're taking this day by day to see how, the units are playing. And remember, not all the starters are on and all that, and that's for both of the units, the offense and defense. But still, it's good to see that the offense, Jared Goff is just dicing them up. That's going to leave the idea of everybody asked Jared Goff or Ben Johnson, right? Well, if he's still tearing it up, if he's still tearing it up, then could it be this guy? We shall see. We don't really know yet. I have faith in Jared Goff that he can have a great season, and I think he will be fine. But we're about to find out. And so far, so good, at least for the first day of Detroit Lions training camp. Any more updates? I'm going to keep you updated. Stay on the channel. Hit that notification bell. We're going to keep you updated. All Lions news.